A Cinema Snob episode on Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie? Why, that's some dangerous thinking. It might cause... Anyway, now that the island of Earth has been put back together, let's watch MST3K, the motion picture, as it should be called. It is my honor to talk about this movie, which this month is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Mystery Science Theater, the movie, was released on April 19th, 1996, and I'm proud to be one of the lucky ones that actually did see it in the theater upon release. Saturday nights in the early mid-90s were Mystery Science Theater nights, as my dad and I would watch Saturday's reruns of MST3K, where we were introduced to the likes of Brute Men, Melting Men, Moon Men, and other references. It was an absolute joy to watch this movie in theaters, just as it's been a joy to watch it in the years since. However, apparently it wasn't a joy to actually make the movie. The film was produced between seasons 6 and 7 of the show, and like something out of a sketch from the series, studio interference became exhausting. The film had its usual crew of best brains geniuses writing, with of course Jim Mallon directing. See, here's the problem. The film should have been advertised as from the director of Blood Hook. One thing that does stand out is how it's a movie version of a TV series in which the movie version is shorter than an episode of the show. Average length of the show is around 90 minutes, while the movie clocks in at 74, which is funny because it's structured like an episode of the show, host segments and the riffing of a movie, albeit with slightly bigger budgeted host segments and a slightly bigger budgeted movie. This is obviously the best Universal Studios offering of 1996. Sorry, Sergeant Bilko! Plus, the film had Gramercy as a distributor as well. I'm always wooed by their logo that looks like an actual Oscar broke into its own song and dance number. And those are my jokes about the logos. We should probably start the movie now. Crap, I accidentally put in Kids in the Hall brain candy. Trace Beaulieu's Dr. Clayton Forrester gives us all the backstory we need. He's a mad scientist and makes our hero watch the worst movies ever made. Oh yeah? Then where's Nuki?
Oh shit! We all thought about it.
Plus, he's hiding in Deep 13 due to being heavily protested by PETA. He even fills us in on his test subject, the hilarious Mike O'Malley, all while earning that PG-13.
I'm a naughty boy! Naughty, 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 naughty!
Sure, that's raunchy, but nothing beats the episode where Crow T Robot bangs a killer shrew, and with much naughtier language than this.
Now, poopy.
Oh, careful there. You might get an R. We all know the iconic MST3K opening theme music. With lyrics so memorable, we can recite any version of the theme. But as far as the theatrical version goes... it's pretty deep, bro. Seeing it on the big screen, this epic shot of the Satellite of Love was worth every cent of the ticket price. Along with opening music so bleak, I was worried the movie would shoot for Oscar gold and give us a robot cancer subplot. There actually was a new version of the MST3K love theme that was made for the movie by Dave Alvin, but instead of being in the opening credits, an instrumental version of it was used in the end credits instead. I guess the distributors wanted the opening to set the tone that this was the 2001 A Space Odyssey of our time. That is, if Stanley Kubrick's 2001 was just Dave watching Escape 2000. The Satellite of Love sets are bigger and more wide, as it's shot in a studio in St. Paul instead of their usual Best Brain studios. Look at how much space it has. They actually do have enough room to make Earth versus Soup. And if it's theatrical, they can be naughtier.
Good, good. So I guess that means you're not worried about what that rhythmic pounding might be.
Yeah, what is that?
I told you, he's banging a killer shrew again. I've been watching so many space movies lately, I'm assuming the emergency is going to somehow involve Pinhead or the Leprechaun. Thankfully, no. This one's more realistic.
It's a long way to Tipperary.
Yes, thank God they kept in his song. I'm a fan favorite and I know it. Why is he trying to tunnel his way out? Today's Experiment isn't even that bad of a movie. He should save his escape plan for later when they have to watch Hobgoblins 2. And we already know you ran out of boxes of Hamdingers to escape in. I'll still allow it though. Big screen adaptations need big screen adventures. This movie was robbed of good box office and Oscar nominations. I am of the opinion that every movie should say starring Michael J. Nelson. That instantly cranks the sexy up to 11.
Hey, I'm experiencing a sensation altogether new to me, and frankly, I love it.
See, it's even its own porn parody. Who needs the Power Rangers porno to see robots banging? And while I am getting some insight on how he eats and breathes, I am confused about some science facts. But I mean, it is just a movie, so I should really just stop being a cynical asshole. Plus, it's time for this week's invention exchange. I made a camera that shoots on film! Also, there is today's movie.
Today's experiment is a stinky cinematic suppository called This Island Earth.
Oh, they watch The Creeping Terror. They'll be fine with This Island Earth. That's like following up the Hellcats with Easy Rider. Sweet. Maybe Forrester picks better movies now that he has a machine that makes them bow.
Bowing, sir.
This is why Dr. Forrester is way more powerful than Loki. And this lever boosted the PG-13.
Hey, Dr. Forrester, jeez.
What a dickweed.
Ooh, he said it! It's either the move to the big screen that's made Dr. Forrester way hammier, or it's that he doesn't have TV's Frank or his mother there to calm him down. Let's let him sleep off his sugar rush so we can get to the big budget hallway, made from all the spare parts of TV's Frank. Brace yourselves, people, for a commercial break.
Grody Robot from MST3K. You are watching Comedy Central. I don't know what everyone else is doing.
Welcome back. I can't wait to get to the, another Universal movie. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. This Island Earth, huh? Boo! If it's Universal they're looking for, they should be watching Tomboy and the Champ. Who doesn't love a girl and her calf story? With all this riffing already going on, I feel so insignificant. Of course, I always feel insignificant.
I feel so insignificant. Of course, I always feel insignificant.
Alright, I can't sit here and riff this. This is like if I did my own stand-up over a copy of Raw. There actually were a number of people upset at the crew for choosing the 1955 film This Island Earth, as it really is a beloved sci-fi classic. But when they explain that their dislike comes from the fact that Exeter should be the hero and not Cal, I can't disagree. Rex Reason's Cal is like he was built in a lab to be a 50s movie star. He has a voice that seems programmed to sell me cigarettes. I almost wish they froze him in time, unthawed him, and had him star as a live-action Stan Smith. So many things blew my mind when even seeing the trailer for MST3K the movie. Namely, how much different and more widescreen the chairs are. There's way more of them. It's like they're right here in the theater watching the movie with us. Many of the jokes were spaced out in the movie version, so jokes wouldn't be lost due to audience laughter. But honestly, I wouldn't have even noticed that if it wasn't told to me. They do a good job of making the pacing still feel like the show. And even though This Island Earth has a gigantic fan base, the jokes towards it are the kinds you get when you're laughing along with the movie, which is why I prefer my genre of show now, because I can talk about things I love while still making jokes. The medication helps too. Here's basically my show now in a nutshell.
I made it funny.
Yep, that's pretty much me today. I'm hilarious. There is far too much action in this Island Earth film. I'm used to the riveting action of the show, like jets refueling. While Cal is your prototypical movie hero, it's his assistant Joe Wilson that's really my spirit animal.
This is a job for Weenie Man.
That's what I say anytime a new Tyler Perry movie gets released. So yeah, as you can see, you basically get a shorter version of the show here, but when Paramount was interested in the film, they actually did want the writers to explore the characters' backstories more, instead of just watching a movie. That film deal went through and they moved on to Universal. I kinda do wish there was an element of that though. I know it would be impossible to do an origin since Joel isn't in the film, but maybe something that could have taken place in between Mike's introduction in Mitchell and his first official riff in The Brain That Wouldn't Die, or at least something to make it feel a little more different than the show. That being said, this was still one of my favorite theatrical experiences as a teenager. We felt like we were going to see something that no one else in town knew about. And there were sequences that had me laughing so hard, I was in tears and practically on the floor. Namely, this breakfast pastry sequence. It hit close to home too, because this is what happens anytime I try making a toaster strudel. I gotta pick my jokes wisely. See, here they make a joke about the script being delivered, but since this is a review of the movie, I have to make a joke about this being Gramercy and Universal's list of studio demands. And those demands? More PG-13!
Although she probably gained 20 pounds while it did all the work for her.
Hell, you bitch.
That's so weird to hear. They've always been great at making these jokes timeless. So much of it can be applied today. This is what our building's mailroom looks like due to all the Nutrisystem plans being delivered during the pandemic. Ironic that I'm talking about timeless jokes while making a joke that so is not. I think I know why this movie was chosen. MST3K excels at montage jokes. They're the second best at montages right after Sylvester Stallone. From Hired to The Painted Hills, you know you're going to get gold if they're riffing a montage. I have to give kudos to the movie for introducing many of us to this island Earth, and the invention of the Interocitor. It helped to give birth to one of the greatest movie characters of all time, Exeter, and jokes that we can all quote to this day.
Nanu. Hi there.
Do I say hi there whenever a character looks at the camera? Yes. Yes, I do. Unfortunately, though, Forrester's film invention completely fails, and because of the bigger budget, he can even catch fire. Here, just put that out with The Day the Earth Froze, you'll be fine. I enjoy that they show us different parts of the Satellite of Love, like the Aaron Sorkin hallway, where they have a walk and talk about Cal and Joe, and of course there's Gypsy's piloting station. While the puppeteering of Gypsy was done by Patrick Bransig, Jim Mallon's voice was still dubbed over, that way he could focus on his directing duties, which involves state-of-the-art practical effects. See, they hit the real Hubble. This movie is way over budget. And while I'm certainly making a lot of references to the show, the movie does too. Like how the button to activate the manipulator arm says Manos, obviously a reference to Monster A-Go-Go. And since just last week I watched Hellraiser Bloodline, I now know that he'll later use this to assemble the Lament configuration, which will obviously turn Cambot into Camerahead. It's beyond inevitable. I mean, that's just science, people, and this movie is all about the science. Check that. This movie clearly doesn't understand space. I'll stick with more realistic movies like Jason X, thank you very much. And sadly, the film wasn't melted at all. Clearly, it was just a hilarious grindhouse-style film melt gag. But they missed a huge chunk of the movie by having their walk and talk. Since the unriffed This Island Earth is 86 minutes, that means overall about 30 minutes of it were cut out. I don't care, just as long as we still have Cal, Joe, and the invention of the Tesla aircrafts. And even more Joe. Oh, Joe, you're like a big budget droppo. I see Cal was chosen for this mission due to his ability to fall asleep in that chair. Sure, he made it to his destination, but his neck is gonna be killing him for the rest of the movie. God, I feel weird making jokes over this. I am so not worthy. Oh, look, an alien named Brack. I should make a Space Ghost reference? It's much easier for me to talk about the host segments and the deleted scenes that we'll get to later. Until then, we have to brace ourselves for all the Gilligan's Island jokes. But where are all the Faith Demure jokes? I demand at least 12 references to Cult of the Cobra and 6 to the Atomic Man. It might contain the atomic brain. Such a weird movie to review. Not only am I lost in the jokes, but I'm also lost in the movie within the movie. Helped largely by the smooth performance of Jeff Morrow as Exeter. His performance is as hypnotic as his forehead. Thankfully, all of these scientists have come together to solve the mystery of Crow's silhouette. Does it look to you like he's facing the camera or facing away from the camera? Gentlemen, I hereby call this a visual ambiguity. A motion parallax, I say. All this is prime dinner conversation. This is the classiest thing the bots have watched since those General Hospital episodes. But no matter how fancy the dinner, that's no excuse to not sit there with a cigarette dangling out of your mouth. It's still 1955 after all. You can't curse on screen, but you can smoke.
Dr. Marie Pitchner, U-235. Dr. Borfield, plutonium.
Whoop-de-shit.
In 1996, however, sure you can say shit. As weird as it is to hear in Mystery Science Theater, Tom Servo saying whoop-de-shit was the Raphael screaming damn of 96. And you don't need to be staring at an interocitor to know that every shot in this movie belongs on the one perfect shot account. And the one perfect shot.
And if we did get out, who'd believe all this?
I'm a cat and I'm here to make things explode way before the climax.
It wouldn't be a riff without making the cats talk.
No, please, I can't digest milk. No.
Oh, my mistake. Didn't realize the cat already had a voice. I apologize for making every animal sound like Lloyd. 1955 was extra good at making sure the audience was all caught up.
Do you notice the peculiar indentations in both their foreheads?
No.
It's impossible to get confused in a sci-fi film around this time. I can see why This Island Earth was a hit when it came out, and critics gave it positive reviews as well, largely due to the special effects and the gorgeous Technicolor. The film also makes Mystery Science Theater 3000 the movie a good gateway to the series if you've never seen the show before. This Island Earth is quite enjoyable. The riffs are on point, it's not too long or too weird or obscure, which makes it a pretty safe movie choice. There's a lot of people I've gotten into the show by introducing them to this. Of course, it all depends on their taste, because in some other cases, the first one I've shown people is my favorite episode, Pod People. And who doesn't love a good Gilligan's Island reference? That makes it a safe introductory episode alone. Although this sequence does make me want to watch Danger Death Ray. The professor has some serious Bart Fargo vibes going on. I will say that even with 30 minutes of This Island Earth cut, it still flows together pretty well. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. You still see how gorgeous looking the movie is. Some shots are so cool that I want framed artwork of it on my wall. And the jokes are so well written that you can admire the art direction of the film while appreciating a toilet joke.
The passengers are here.
So why'd they put the toilet in the middle of the room?
And we can mark that off from the jokes in the trailer. Though we haven't gotten to the ending yet, which was heavily spoiled in the trailer. Just like I've already spoiled it for you, that Lloyd will definitely make another appearance.
And now it's time for Lloyd's out of context 911 Lone Star clip of the week.
Dude, you're just going to do that to us? He's challenging our manhood.
You don't got no manhood, dummy.
Does everyone in this universe crash their car?
We are back to the riveting story of how aliens came to Earth and the only thing they discovered was Blofeld's wardrobe and Dr. No's laboratory. Hey, wait, you're leaving? But I just got back from the commercial break. I guess this is okay. They're bringing back more memories for me. Like how this is pretty much what my bedroom looked like the year this movie came out. And it stayed looking like this till around 2007. And they should have known they had an interocitor. They always have props from the movies they watch. They even have a chainsaw in case they want to watch pieces.
Huh. Hey, a chainsaw!
This is about to get very violent.
If you want to tell someone how much more extreme the movie is, tell them that Crow has a chainsaw and that Servo gets shot in the head. Technically true. I know Mike and the bots really want to get off this ship, but they're missing pivotal plot points from the movie. Plus, when they get back to Earth, they'll just sit around and watch The Crawling Eye anyway. With the bigger budget MST3K the movie has, wouldn't it be something if Trace played Forrester the same way he did on the KTMA episodes? While this is the last of the mid-movie host segments, there were originally more than this. Gramercy had them cut out one of the host segments, and the one to go was a sequence where our heroes hide from a meteor shower. Given that a real change is what caused them to leave, and that a meteor shower is what the climax of This Island Earth revolves around, it's easy to see where this host segment would have fallen in the movie. And it has the bots saving Mike's life after he saved the bots earlier. This should have been included into the movie, or eventually inserted back into it. Why have it cut? It still would have been shorter than an episode of the show. I can see why they hated working with a studio so much that they parodied their experience with notes-happy execs during the host segments of The Incredible Melting Man. Sorry, once again I am talking over the jokes that are talking over the movie.
Ruth?
I farted.
Yes?
I would never do a shit joke, and by that, I mean I've filled my shit joke quota for the month. Be prepared for 12 new shit jokes next month. I knew there was something inside of me that said I should watch this on 420, and I'm starting to see why. I think this movie is speaking directly to me.
View in first quadrant, that ionization...
Ew, it's Michael Stipe's head!
No, it's my head. I want every prop from this movie to be in my house. At one point, I think the most collectible thing about it was simply the original DVD release of the movie. This DVD was released by Image Entertainment in '98 and was quickly discontinued, making it at one point quite the collector's item that would go for high prices on places like eBay. Oh, unless you're Dave, who found it in a pawn shop for $5. God damn it, Dave! Yeah, we got a Universal release in 2008 and a Shout Factory release in 2013, so now $5 is probably the most this would go for. Even in the regular sketches and deleted scenes, I wish we had more in the way of original songs. You know, like Merry Christmas If That's Okay, or Bouncy Upbeat Song. I mean, there are still some catchy tunes.
Normal view, normal view.
I'll have that stuck in my head for the rest of the week.
This is like a double awesome theater experience. Not only was it cool seeing Mystery Science Theater on the big screen, but also cool seeing This Island Earth on the big screen. When we saw this in the theater, it was my dad and I, plus a couple of others in the theater. So many people I talked to didn't even know the movie had come out. I first saw the trailer for it on that Todd Newton Coming Attractions show that used to be on E! And then saw a tiny Now Playing ad in our local paper. Universal's distribution plan for it wasn't the best. In an effort to keep it from getting buried by summer blockbusters, the movie had a tiny release to various college towns in the hopes that this would eventually lead to big box office success. Oh yeah, that worked well for Shock Treatment's Midnight's only release. A small rollout like that is one thing, but people have to at least know that it's coming out. We saw it in our art house theater at the time, which was called the Fox Theater in Springfield, Illinois. I miss that theater. All the indie flicks went there. It's where I saw Boogie Nights on a date. Then they tore it down, because Springfield. If it had better advertising, you could have had people dressing up like the aliens from the movie. This film is tailor-made for cosplays. Hell, I'm more impressed by this planet destruction climax than I was the opening of Man of Steel.
Now I swear we parked on level C right next to... Oh, shit.
And he said shit again.
And as cool as the last act of This Island Earth is, damn, it sort of does seem like this plot was all for nothing. I think the whole point of the movie is Rex Reason auditioning to be the perfect voiceover actor for radio plays, and to bring footage of the movie to Earth. That way there can be This Island Earth references in E.T., Explorers, and an episode of Wonder Woman. They may have cut out 30 minutes, but it still isn't over yet. They have to pose for every publicity photo of the movie and give us a line that everyone who does an internet riff show will always use.
Thank God I saved you.
Speaking of Man of Steel reviews, pretty sure I saw that line getting quoted a lot. And after all these years and so many copycat shows like mine, no one is better at putting lines into the characters' mouths like MST3K.
Exeter.
You dog.
You're a liar.
And I hate you.
Damn, I don't want to see Exeter go. He's so cool. It is a great looking sequence when the ship crashes and Exeter braces his fate like a badass. But damn, way to end your 1955 blockbuster like a bummer. MST3K the movie, however, ends much happier.
Heck no, we're fine, Dr. Forrester. In fact, we're just having ourselves a little Metaluna mixer.
Why don't I ever have props from the movies I watch sitting around? Oh sure, I've got a jacket full of VHS tapes. They say keep circulating the tapes, so that's what I've been doing for 30 years. The ending here is rather quick, where Forrester ends up in the shower. Ironically, it was the TV series that had nudity in it. The alternate ending feels more in spirit of the show. It's got the aliens in it, and there's callbacks to the chainsaw and crow tunnel sequences, making two payoffs for jokes that were set up earlier in the film. The ending used, again, feels like a studio note to get to the end credits fast.
All right, now we'll never get back to Earth. Hey, wait a minute.
Granted, the end credits are pretty amazing. Nearly every joke in the credits lands, and it's one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. Even during the end credits, we still get great introductions to people like Eastman and Rando.
Eastman. He came out of the East to do battle with the amazing Rando.
And thus ends the Satellite of Love crew visits much larger parts of the ship. I think it's called the CinemaScope wing. What else can I say but happy 25th anniversary to Mystery Science Theater 3000 the movie, and thank you for blessing us with the gifts of mechanical breakfast pastries and intergalactic farting. And of course, thank you to Mystery Science Theater 3000 in general, because it goes without saying that I wouldn't be here without it. I'd just be on the street yelling about movies like a talking cat to random strangers. It's much less weird to do that on YouTube.
Maybe we can trust.
Yes, well, thank you, Dr. Adams.